Hi everyone, it's Tomoya. I'm here with this electric cello, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about sort of the sound making part of it. As an electric cello, as you may know from, let's say, electric guitars or electric, maybe even keyboards, if there is no speaker connected to it, which this instrument does not have a speaker connected to it unless I do connect it physically. It does not have internal speakers. It'll have how some piano keyboards sometimes, well, a lot of them have speakers in them where you move the volume slider up and you play and the sound comes out. A lot of times, if you have a MIDI keyboard or some different type of, or let's say a tiny keyboard that's supposed to connect to a computer, it doesn't have speakers built into it, so the sound comes through the computer or some other sound source. So this instrument, when you just get it, when you set it up and you play with the bow, it sounds like this. And a lot of people might say, hey, where's the sound? Like, I don't hear anything. Right? You don't hear anything. I mean, you hear a little bit, you kind of hear this like tiny sound. It's just basically a string connected to, to this body, which doesn't have the ability or the sound, what do you call it? In acoustic instrument, there's a sound chamber inside, and then it connects the vibrations and it brings it out of the instrument. This one really doesn't. Still sounds great, but it just sounds very small. That's why you would connect it to a speaker. Usually probably an amp. I'm just using a speaker for now. When you connect just a cable from the back of this cello to a speaker like this, the sound that you get is like this, right? With this volume knob, you hear getting louder, and you'll hear a sound like this. You might not actually like this sound too much. I thought it was kind of cool. This is the original sound without any changing. I will actually show you right now. You hear my cello sound, this without the speaker, plus the speaker. And I kind of like having this double set, a combination of the sound of this, because it has a little more nuance into the sound, plus this electric sound. If I look back, maybe you'll hear a little more of this. So let's try this. I'm gonna look back. Maybe I'll turn off the volume a little bit so you can hear basically just the sound that's coming out of here. That's the sound, okay? If you are happy with this sound, then go for it. If you'd like to experiment with other sounds, actually the first time I played this instrument and connected to a speaker, I thought this was the only sound I could ever get, because this was the only sound that this instrument would provide. Then a few years later, when I found this instrument again, I realized that, these electric guitars, they seem to be doing some crazy thing with pedals and kind of setups and whatever it was that made their sound different every time they played, right? So they had this one instrument, and sometimes it sounds very beautiful, sometimes it sounds very and it sounds some different things every single time. So I was like, what is this? I never was in this electric, field, electric guitar world that's been so big, but I had no idea because I was in a classical jazz acoustic sound world. So that's where I found this gadget. It's called, what is it? It's a company called NewX. It's called the Mighty Plug Pro, I think. You can get things like this, if you are interested in electric guitar. I'm sure you can find plenty of things on YouTube. This is the one that I found that was very easy for me to use and change sounds, and it comes with an app, which I have an iPad with this. So I started experimenting with some sounds. So here are a couple of the sounds that I found to sort of work with this cello, although there are too many settings I have to kind of do even more. So this is an example also. Sounds nice, right? Another one that I've used, you probably heard some. Another sound. We have different presets, settings that you can save onto for There's that sound. The next one, what is this? Another one, last one, what is this? Cool, right? And again, I'm gonna go back to the original sound that has absolutely no extra. I think they call it modeling, where you model different amps, model different impulse responses, and you can add EQ and delay and reverb and effects and all kinds of stuff. Without anything, it sounds like this. Sounds very clean, kind of electric. So here are some things that you can kind of keep in mind about. I'm gonna try this kind of the same presets without me playing to the phone direct. I'm gonna look back so that you can hear the difference between, I personally like the fact that you can hear both this stringy sound, a little more nuance, a little more sensitivity, and then adding this. But just hear it without it. I'll look back, I'll go through the presets. So, first is nothing, just the sound of the cello without any modeling. Different one. Next one. Ooh, this one. Next one, 3 more left. so that was just an example of just explaining that when you get something like this, electric instrument like this, it may be different than what you expect in the beginning. However, there's so many ways to change your sound and kind of have fun with your sound. So if you're into this kind of stuff, it's so much fun. You probably people who play electric, electric anything, will tell you there's so many things that you can get into. You can probably buy all kinds of like pedals you see people using, and all kinds of devices, all kinds of things you can buy. But it's a lot of fun. So I found something that worked for me. I kind of wanted something very minimalistic and easy to carry and rechargeable. So if you're interested in more about this kind of video, please let me know, and hope you're well. Thank you. Bye.